So the President of the United States gets the coronavirus. Goblins on the left openly root for his death. The President then rebounds very quickly, exits Walter Reed, and returns to the White House. Goblins on the left attack him for that. NBA Commissioner Nosferatu finally wakes up and realizes what is wrong with the NBA and why their ratings are tanking. And, oh yeah, there was a VP debate the other night. You were watching the Tattooed Relic. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm very late with this video. I was planning on putting it up Monday or Tuesday. But, you know, then life happened. So, it is what it is. Lot of stuff to unpack here. Before we do, I just want to remind you, if you like what you see here, you want to see more from me, like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video. I'm relying on word of mouth from you guys to help me grow this channel. Alright, so that said, depending on where you live or how closely you follow the news, you got the news late last Thursday night or early Friday morning that Trump got the coronavirus. And what was the reaction? You had people in the media, sitting state senators, and even a former Obama administration official and high-ranking staffer on Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign openly wishing for his death. That is beyond disgusting. And I'm telling you right now, if you're one of these people and you have that kind of view, you are a ghoul and a piece of crap as a human being. And there's no other way to put it. And you're also a political imbecile. Because the leader of a global power has global implications. If Trump were to die, our enemies around the world, and certainly we have quite a few of them, our enemies around the world would see America as vulnerable, and they would immediately start taking moves to take advantage of that. And if you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be running your mouth on the internet about politics, because you obviously don't know what you're talking about. And you should probably do the world a favor and stay at home on election day. Now let's get into a few details. Last Sunday, I watched Howard Kurtz on Fox News. I don't know what the hell is going on with Fox News. Howard Kurtz was reminded of a few things. Chiefly, Trump shut down travel to and from China before this virus even became a serious issue in America. And when he did that, He was attacked by Biden, the media, Democrats in Congress, and leftists on social media as being racist and xenophobic. Standard fare. And Howie Kurtz's reply was, yeah, there was also video of him early on saying he thought this was no big deal and it was going to go away and it wasn't going to affect us. And that, kids, is the difference between actions and words. Because yes, Trump did deliver a positive message to the American people about the virus, and he probably believed it at the time. But he still acted and shut down travel. That is not the act of a president who is ignoring the potential problem. And I think everybody would be well served to keep that in mind. But anyway, the media narrative was Trump was a racist and a xenophobic monster and wildly overreacting to the virus by shutting down travel between the U.S. and China and later the EU. And at that same time, we had Dr. Fauci, we had experts from the CDC, we had the WHO, not the band, although the band is probably more credible at this point than the World Health Organization, and the Surgeon General of the United States, stating publicly that we should not wear masks because they were not effective and might even be downright harmful. Yet now, leftists from all quarters, be it Congress, media, random people on social media, or whatever, are engaging in some extremely creative revisionist history and suggesting that Trump should have shut down travel even earlier and should have instituted a national mask mandate. Now, I can't even believe I have to say this, but that second point deserves some attention. Because it more than anything else, that second point highlights the stupidity and dishonesty of Trump's opposition. It just so happens that the President of the United States does not have the constitutional authority to issue a national mask mandate. So even if Trump wanted to do that, he wouldn't have been able to do so. He would have been sued, and that would have been reversed. And of course, as we all know, anything he does, the Democrats are automatically going to take the opposite position. So if he had unconstitutionally instituted a mask mandate nationally, the Democrats would have sued him and called him a maniac. But let's pretend for a second that he could have done that. What would the reaction be? Think about what the news was at the time. The left would have literally accused Donald Trump of being flat out insane. They'd be saying, what the hell is wrong with this guy? The CDC, the WHO, the Surgeon General of the United States, and Dr. Fauci all say that it might be flat out dangerous to wear masks. Donald Trump is trying to kill people. That's what the left would have been saying. And no matter where you come down on this argument, you know damn well what I just said is true. And as far as the travel ban goes, that debate last week was a disaster. And everybody knows that. But the fact of the matter is, Trump instituted the travel ban out of an abundance of caution, and during that debate, Trump reminded Biden of that. And he pointed out that at the time, Biden explicitly said that he would not have done that. And he called Trump a racist for doing it. If Biden had been president at that time, there would likely be millions of people dead in this country right now, rather than a little over 200,000. Anyway, I don't want this to go on forever, but I want to touch on a few things before I wrap up. First, as I'm sure all of you are aware, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, so there is now an opening on the Supreme Court. Chuck Schumer was on some cable network via satellite. I apologize, I don't remember which one. But he said this in several venues. He said that because a couple of members of the Senate Judiciary Committee tested positive for the coronavirus, we must postpone the hearings on the Amy Coney Barrett nomination because you can't have a true back and forth conversation with someone unless you're in the same room. And I'll give you guys a minute to consider and absorb and truly appreciate the irony of that statement. Had enough time? Probably not, but whatever. We got to keep this video going. As Schumer was making those comments about not being able to have a true back and forth conversation via satellite, he was having a true back and forth conversation via satellite. Every time I think this guy can't be more of a sleazy, dishonest slime ball and can't go any lower, here he comes with a jackhammer and a drill and tells me to hold his beer. It's absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe that this guy is still an elected official. And on sort of on that same topic, a note about civility that I want to throw in here. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, people on the right, including myself, who vehemently disagreed with her on policy, praised her for her integrity and her principles. Because think whatever you want about that woman, you can't deny that. She was a woman of integrity and stood by her principles. Not one person on the right that I'm aware of came out and praised her death like it was something to celebrate. Yet the moment the President of the United States got the coronavirus, you have people on the left, including members of the national media and elected public officials, openly wishing for the president's death. So think about that and then tell me which side is in the wrong here. And we'll move on. All right, and finally, let's talk about the VP debate. You know, the one between Mike Pence and a woman who is such an incompetent and unlikable politician that she bailed out of the Democrat race before the first primary because she was polling in 5th place in her own state. But of course now we're told that she's such a brilliant politician and a master debater. She is neither of those things. She is horrible at both of those things. And that was on full display the other night. Now, as for assessing the debate, this is where my opinion differs from that of some notable people who agree with me politically. Shapiro, Knowles, Walsh, Klavan, all of them. They were all very pleased with the debate the other night and said that Pence laid waste to Harris. And on substance, he did. But here's the thing. We, and by we, I mean myself and the people I just mentioned, we are informed on the issues because we stay on top of them. When I watch a debate, especially in a national election, I try to view it through the lens of somebody who knows absolutely nothing about the issues. And in that respect, I think Pence failed the other night because he missed a lot of opportunities to really nail Harris. And I think the theory that was the correct strategy because he was debating a woman and he didn't want to be seen as too aggressive or, whatever. I think that's a bad strategy because the fact of the matter is Kamala Harris is not likable. She is not likable, not even among Democrat voters. So, I don't think there would have been any sympathy for her. So, I think Pence should have been much more aggressive. I think he should have gone out of his way to zero in on the facts even more than he did and call her on the carpet. And I think that would have been a net positive for him rather than the opposite. And a perfect example. The very first question of the debate the other night, Harris responded by repeating the false narrative that Trump called the virus a hoax. And instead of wasting half of his allotted time prattling on about how happy he was to be there and all that nonsense, Pence should have come out of the gate like a raging bull. And he should have said to moderator Susan Page, he should have said, "Thank you, Susan. The false narrative that Donald Trump called the virus a hoax is dishonest and deliberately dishonest. And that should tell the American people a little something about how the Biden-Harris ticket views the electorate. They think you people are stupid, and you should be offended by that. Here are the facts." And he could have gone on from there. That would have been an extremely powerful moment, and honestly, the debate probably would have been over right there. I think another missed opportunity for Mike Pence was the fact that he did not call Harris on the carpet for calling her own running mate a racist and a sexual predator, at least by implication, at the very least. That should have been highlighted because it makes it crystal clear that she has zero integrity. If she really thought Biden was a racist and or sexual predator, she would never agree to be on the same ticket with him. But of course, she has no integrity. So, here we are. And we're somehow expected to take this woman seriously. And then there's the moderator, Susan Page. She could hardly have been more biased. She constantly cut off Pence. And at one point, she actually asked Harris about national mask mandates. And as I mentioned earlier, the President of the United States does not have the constitutional authority to issue such a mandate. So why in the hell was that even a topic? It was a waste of everyone's time. And it's also telling, speaking of moderator bias, it's also telling that Pence is the one that had to raise the question, probably the biggest question of the election at this point, of whether or not Joe Biden or Kamala Harris intend to pack the Supreme Court should they somehow win the election. The moderator was so in the tank for Biden and Harris that she obviously wasn't going anywhere near that question. And Pence brought it up. And of course, Kamala Harris didn't answer the question. And the moderator let her off the hook. And as a matter of fact, in the course of her non-answer to that question, she launched into this miraculous historical account of Abraham Lincoln choosing to not nominate someone for an open position on the Supreme Court 27 days before an election. Well, it turns out, big surprise, that was a lie. Abraham Lincoln did not do that out of the kindness of his heart or because he thought that was the right thing to do. Abraham Lincoln did not make that nomination because the Senate was not in session. It would have been pointless for him to make a nomination. The Senate wasn't in session. And this woman was allowed on national television to tell that lie and not get questioned about it at all. And I have to admit, I won't fault Pence for not calling her on that because I wasn't even aware of that. I had to research it. I'm sorry, but I'm a little sketchy on my knowledge of politics from the 1800s. And I guess to some degree, I guess in fairness, I have to sort of give the moderator a pass there too. Now that I think about it. But the bottom line is, Kamala Harris is a piece of garbage. She has no integrity. She has no spine. She's running with a man who she called a racist and a sexual predator. And now she's acting like he's the greatest guy in the world. And this greatest guy in the world, depending on what time of day you catch him, may or may not even know what his own name is. Disgusting. And finally, we'll leave on a lighthearted note. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, a.k.a. Nosferatu, look it up. He came out and said that next season they are probably not going to have Black Lives Matter painted on the courts. They're not going to have SJW messages on the jerseys and all that. Because he realizes that the NBA ratings are in the garbage. The NBA Finals ratings are down 70% from just 2 years ago. So it's good to see that he finally pulled his head out of his ass and realized that they made a very wrong turn with all the SJW nonsense. But I'm going to tell you, I'm still not going back. I'm so disgusted with them. As it stands right now, I don't plan to ever watch another NBA game for the rest of my life. I'm not saying I won't. I'm saying that right this minute, I don't plan to. And we'll leave it there. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and like I said, if you like what you see here, you want to see more content, like, share, subscribe, and by all means, leave a comment in the video. If I think your comment is worthy of a reply, I will certainly do my best to get back to you on that. Even if you want to troll me and try and start an argument with me. I'm very good at that, and I enjoy it. So, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.